that I have written my funeral oration at the back of this book, because I do understand the challenges that face anybody who tries to look at the whole project and tries to bring forth the truth. It means that anything can happen, because in any system where you have malfunctioning concepts, ideologies, and theories, there are lots of people feeding from it, and they don't want the truth revealed because they feel threatened. I've described such people, because I believe in metaphor, I describe such people as dogs clinging on to a dangerous bone. Now, a dog cannot differentiate between bones. All a dog is attracted to is a bone. Now, when a dog grabs that bone, even though it is dangerous and toxic, it doesn't want to give it up easily because it believes in it. Okay? However, my job is to say to this dog, I'm sorry, that is a dangerous bone. If you eat it, you will die. I've got a better bone for you. Okay? It could be that the point of it that the dog might bite me. Can you begin to understand where I'm coming from? So, I've decided to unleash the truth as I know it. In the knowledge that I live a life which is transient. We are not here to stay. You must get that straight. When you get to the truth that you asked me about, first of all, you begin to understand the nature of your tendency on this planet. And when you understand that, the nature of the tendency on this planet, then you will begin to see the things that possibly the natural eyes might not see. Now let me tell you, because this is a very important question, that's why I want to dig into it a bit more. Let me tell you where the dangerous concepts came about. I've spoken a lot. If you check my videos on Facebook and elsewhere, you'll see where I am talking about the fact that it's only the human species that carries two elements. One is physical, the other is spiritual. Other animals haven't got the spiritual part, they are just physical. That's why they kill you, they eat you, that's it. Because they are only physical, they are propelled by nature only. We are the ones propelled by nature. Though we come in from a very natural angle, but our existence is driven by nature. Without it, nothing happens. You can have a baby now, don't speak to that baby. Don't think the baby will die because nature has nothing to offer that baby. But you can have another now, that animal will start and start walking. You start walking, and 3-year-old baby is totally independent of the parent. Totally. And will survive in the wild. No human species can survive even an adult in the wild without harming themselves. Now, so the physical and the spiritual. Why we had layers of fiction. Why we had layers of fiction in our world was because the human eye that represents the physical is very poor. Our eyesight, you need to understand, is very poor compared to every other creature out there. We can't see. We think we can see, but we can't see. We see very little. And the power we have is in the spiritual, in the mind. This is why when you have even a dog beside you, before you start packing, before you start retiring, because we can't see. As we are standing here, there are particles, millions of particles dropping, but we can't see it. We can't see them. Even when they settle on the floor, we can't still see them until we do like this. Now we begin to see. Now this tells you that because of this limited nature, when we act based on what we can see, we cause all sorts of problems. Because our eyesight is so limited, we can't see much, but we think we can see. It is when we develop our minds that we can take that short-sightedness, put it down into our heart, go deeper and understand it. You see, when you see young children out there starting themselves, they are judging based on what they can see, because they can't see deep, they can't interpret. Okay? When you hear that America is planning to go and bomb this and that, they are interpreting based on what they can see. Their heart is not deep. Because when you interpret with your heart,
see a fine girl.
I'm on the way though. One love, my ladies.
Sweet girl, you know.
Let's get the paper. Along.
Now I know I don't know you, but I throw something for you. Show me what it do. Then I spray something for you. Girl, you know. Fine girl, fine girl, fine girl. My fine girl, my fine girl, fine girl. Fine girl, fine girl, she's a fine girl. My fine girl, my fine girl, fine girl. My fine girl, my fine girl, fine girl. Fine girl, fine girl, fine girl. Fine girl, fine girl, she's a fine girl. Fine girl, she's a fine girl. Take it down like she want it back. Put her in the verse, then the bed, then the cat. For the boy, baby girl, go that hand and back. Mama with the ladies in the late shit to hit the net. Oh yeah, got some time for ya. Nigga pick me for beef, we beat, they wanna sue ya. I got a lawyer, Charlie, we in a hurry. I'm pressing every door, about nigga getting her money. They go another 20. Fine girl, fine girl, fine girl. My fine girl, my fine girl, fine girl. Fine girl, fine girl, she's a fine girl. My fine girl, my fine girl, fine girl.
Fine girl, turn it to the tila, turn it to the tila, turn it to the tila. What if you shimmy killa, oh shimmy killa, oh shimmy killa. Fine girl, turn it to the tila, turn it to the tila, turn it to the tila. What if you shimmy killa, oh shimmy killa.
Give me the motion like a motion picture. Show your back, I want to get your feature. Give me love and I give you a return. Stack out of visa, baby, which one you want? Sax flip with the east side. Rodeo with the west side. Back boy with the road white. Don't forget I'm ready to be white. How can you come to an animal? Why you want to a carnival? They want to tell me, take it easy. So you know what I get stamina. Baby, come on, one time. The way you want your body, just my medulla. She be fine girl, she be fine girl. And this one no be regular. She be fine girl, fine girl, fine girl. My fine girl, my fine girl, fine girl. Fine girl, fine girl, she's a fine girl. My fine girl, my fine girl, fine girl, my girl.
Fine girl, turn it to the tila, turn it.
Take it or leave it, baby, take it or leave it. But I know you won't leave it, cause I know that you need it. Look in the mirror, when I look in the mirror, baby, I see it clear, why you wanna be near. I'm not surprised, I sympathize. I can't deny your appetite. You got a fetish for my love. I'll push you out and you come right back. Don't see a point in pain. If I were you, I'd tell me You got a fetish for my love. Look in the mirror, when I look in the mirror, baby, I see you clear. Why you wanna be near? I'm not surprised, I sympathize. I can't deny your appetite.
It's your boy easy. Yeah. It's your boy style. Uzi, mami, volume.
Boy, when it comes to your touch, don't be scared to get too rough. Don't take it easy, baby. Don't take it easy, baby. I know what I can say. I know what I can say. I don't know that right now. Don't carry it right now. Easy, got my body like skin tight. If you're there by my side, then times when I know I get slick up. If you're by my side, you drive me crazy. I'm your lady. You be the only one that I need. You be the only one for me. Oh, if you give your love to me.
Hey, my baby. Nobody show me love like my baby. You be the only one for me. Only one for me. You be the only one that I need. Say come on, I know you did. You know they run away with me.
Get up, get up, get up, get up. Let's make love tonight. When you see me and I see you, baby girl, say my head dead touch tonight. Oh, get up, get up, get up, get up. Come touch me tonight. When you see me and I see you, baby girl, say I need your love tonight. Say I need your love all night. Say you got me all night. Say never leave me all night. Say you got me all night.
Your body like summertime.
Easy on my body like skin tight. If you're there by my side, then time gonna know I get sick of. If you're by my side, you drive me crazy. I'm your lady. You be the only one that I need. You be the only one for me. Oh, if you give your all to me.
Nobody show me love like my baby. You be the only one for me. Only one for me. You be the only one that I need. Pick up when I love you. You know they're gonna love you. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Let's make love tonight. When you see me and I see you, baby girl, say my head dead touch tonight. Oh, get up, get up, get up, get up. Come touch me tonight. And I see you, baby girl, say I need your love tonight. Say I don't need your love all night. Say you got me all night. Say never leave me all night. Say you got me all night. You really like sometime. Where I could be by your side. 10 times when I know that to sit down. You be there by my side. Baby girl, I love your body like skin tight. So you go there by my side. Till the end of time, we go there tight. Say you go there. My baby. Hey, sweet you. It's your body. It's your body.
Boy, when it comes to your touch, don't be scared to get too rough. Don't take it easy, babe. Don't take it easy, babe. I know what I can take. I know what I can take. I wanna let it right now. Don't care where we are right now. Easy on my body like skin tight. If you're there by my side, then time gonna know I get sick of. If you're by my side, you drive me crazy. I'm your lady. You be the only one that I need. You be the only one for me. Oh, if you give your all to me.
Nobody show me love like my baby. You be the only one for me. Only one for me. You be the only one that I need. Pick up when I love you. You know they're gonna love you. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Let's make love tonight. When you see me and I see you, baby girl, say my head dead touch tonight. Oh, get up, get up, get up, get up. The last time we see, that's so drama. I will love you. Kulu kulu baby, if you vex me, I will love it. Kulu kulu easy. Remember, say we supposed to don't do better. 'Cause I love you from my mind to my.
Shoma, oh you too talk grammar. See, I they try to manage my hangover. I mean, I never joke with you, you be left over. I no go play for a fool, I swear, but you like together. Baby, I go follow you. Catch me later for your love. Baby, I never seen no one, no one. Never seen no one, no one. No one be like you. Kulu, kulu, baby. If you love me, I will love you. Kulu, kulu, baby. If you vex me, I will love you too. Kulu, kulu, sisi. Remember I said we're supposed to don't do that, cause I love you. I'm one man, like a body. Hey, Jimmy, viva, viva, viva. Me and the Shiva, Shiva, Shiva. I done day wonder, wonder, wonder. Mr. Your love, oh, they give me the ginger, ginger, ginger. Shama, Miss Kaki turn to a bada. Me and you together, oh, no one put us under. Me I never joke with you, go be dead over. I never play for the fool, I swear it's not too brother. Baby, I don't wanna leave. Catch me maybe for your love. Baby, me I never see no one, no one, no one, no one, no one be like you. Kulu, kulu, baby. If you love me, I will love you. Kulu, kulu, baby. If you vex me, I will love you too. Kulu, kulu, sisi. Remember I say we're supposed to don't do that, cause I love you. I'm one man, not a man. Oh, yeah. Papa. You too like to wahala. The last time when we see, I saw so drama. Funny and very weather, into that. One story, can you be my own Rihanna? Baby, I'm gonna follow you. I don't know. Baby, I never see no one, no one. No one be like you. Kulu, kulu, baby. If you love me, I will love you. Kulu, kulu, baby. If you vex me, I will love you too. Kulu, kulu, sisi. Remember I say we're supposed to don't do that, cause I love you. Come on, man, come on. Show man how you do talk with drama. See, I dey try to manage my hangover. I swear that we're not together. Baby, I follow you.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together again once for the amazing, amazing act you just seen. Okay, just a quick one really. Now, Africa Fashion Week, as you know, Vision is about showcasing up-and-coming designers and giving them a platform where they can showcase all their gifts and talents and everything they do that is kind of have to do with the patterns or textiles or fabrics that come from Africa and so on. But this year, we added a new agenda to our mission. And that agenda is about empowerment, because we understand that it's no good just coming in and showcasing stuff and not knowing what to do afterwards. So based upon that, I'd like to call on the gentleman who is starting this collaboration with us, and he's going to give a little bit of a speech, not more than 2, 3, 5 minute speech about industry and stuff. So please put your hands together for Paul Reed, the director of Black Archives. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Are we enjoying the show so far? hope so. I hope so. I'm definitely enjoying the show. I must confess, before we introduce Black Cultural Archives, I'm under a lot of pressure over here right now. Let me explain why. You put a brother in the middle of all these beautiful women. You place the chair of my organization to the left and my wife to the right, and then say, tell the organization about your organization. I think that is a terrible thing to do, organizers, and we'll talk about it afterwards. All right, one last little thing. I was about to take a stroll up and down this avenue here, tell you all about these garments I'm wearing, but it's a really simple thing. There's a brother in Peckham with a sewing machine, £50, you're out, yeah? No problem, no problem. All right, super quick. The work of the Black Cultural Archives, and I have to thank the organisers for the opportunity to share some time with you. We were planning to really give some great in-depth presentation about the work that we're doing, but we're running behind time, so I'm going to really cut it short. I'm hoping that some people present have been to the Black Culture Archives and possibly have heard of us. Can I ask you to maybe raise your hands if you've heard of us? Yeah? I'm going to tell us about ourselves. Good, but we've got one or two people present, which is fantastic. Okay, so the organisation is a charity. We started in 1981 to collect, preserve and celebrate the history of people of African descent in Britain. Specifically to Britain, because there is a tendency when we think about black history that we look overseas, so we look to obviously to Africa, to the Caribbean and so on. And by doing so, we often forget or ignore the fact that African people, black people have been in this country for many, many years. If I was to ask, for example, you know, when do we think that that began? Lots of people, I'm not saying that in this room, but lots of people think that, you know, the arrival of African people to these shores, Caribbean people to these shores, came in 1948 with the arrival of the Windrush. Some people think that. I'm glad that my brother over here is laughing, because it is good to laugh at a joke like that. Some people will say that we arrived here after the First World War. By the way, another joke. We've been here a lot longer than that. Some people will say that we arrived as part of the enslavement of African people who were brought to these shores. How many people present know that we can trace the history of African people around these shores going all the way back to Roman times? And we don't quite know when that started, but I would say this: how about we look at the world through a slightly different lens? How about African people were the first people on the planet who circumnavigated the globe? Well before the definitions of England and Britain. Yeah? How about that? And if we were to do that, maybe we would see ourselves differently while we're here. Not necessarily passing through, right? Not necessarily worried about the visa. Not necessarily worried about migration or Brexit or any of these things. We have entitlement. We have always been here. We've been building up this place, going way, way back to the beginning of recorded history. So the work of, yes, and before, so the work of the Black Culture Archives is actually looking at history through a different lens, but it must start with our stories. It must start with an appreciation of history. It must tell a different story, not the one that when we turn the pages of history we don't see ourselves reflected back. Not the one that we pop up in history in October and disappear in November. What happened to history? Sometimes history is portrayed as truth, but actually, isn't it just the story of those that have won wars, that are now in control of the curriculum building institutions, and so therefore we have to learn that history, the national curriculum? Okay, so now we're getting real serious. Just a slight detour. I was fortunate this last year to go to the opening of the National Museum of African American History and Culture in the United States. It's a $5 to $6 million project. It was opened by Barack Obama. There was 3 presidents there, Oprah Winfrey, Stevie Wonder, you name it. Stevie Wonder sung a song only to be sung once, never to be sung again. A major historical event. And when they opened and launched this wonderful institution, they rang a bell, and other cities up and down the country rang a bell to sound a change has taken place, a very spiritual thing for those that were present. How many people know that the architect is David Adjaye? Yeah? And David Adjaye built this beautiful thing, and it sits just opposite the White House, actually, in Washington. One of the reasons I'm raising this is that I went to the museum. Whilst I was there, I was looking all around the place. You can't see it all in one day. I got there at 10 o'clock, myself and my wife was there at 10 o'clock, we were there at 6 o'clock, and we were still looking. And not just looking, but having conversations with people. Because it was more than looking at something on the wall, you know, having a look at something in a case. This was a spiritual thing for people, a major achievement, yeah? And as we were going around, we came across a sketch. It was David Adjaye's sketch of the first time he started to think about what this building would look like. And there it was, this scribble of the building, and you can recognize the building, you know. And that sketch now representing a key milestone in the history, in the narrative of this institution. And if we are to tell the story of this institution, we have to remember this sketch. It helps us. It helps us to remember memory. And the documentation and the photographs and all of the exchanges around this is absolutely key for us to really remember what is going on here. So we're telling our own story from our own perspective in our own voice, as opposed to other people telling stories about us. I raised this for you for this reason. The designers here today might start with an idea and it ends up with a sketch. And those sketches combine, and we're all here today, aren't we, to look at their wonderful, wonderful designs. And African Fashion Week, going now for a number of years, as we propel ourselves forward, becomes an incredible multinational, multi-million institution. The cultural and capital value that we have within our community, going back to some sketches, some drawings, an idea, some documents. I'm asking us, please, when we're thinking about our documents, our papers, our photographs, our recordings, can we think of them not as stuff, but as heritage? Because as future generations come along and they want to know how did this happen, they need to go to the primary evidence, the primary source. And this doesn't just relate to the African Fashion Week. It relates to us on an individual level, on an organizational level, on a community level, that as we stitch these narratives together, we can tell a story of a people. This is the work of the Black Cultural Archives. It's not just about the collecting of documents, it's these key conversations, this critiquing of history, placing ourselves in the center and not on the periphery, and so that we're empowered to propel ourselves forward for present and future generations. People, have a wonderful event. I can feel the shepherd's crook pulling me off. But have a fantastic day, and I will see you very soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Reed, you are the man. Let's stitch those narratives together and let's tell our own stories. Now, I know you've been sitting down for a while. I just got one more lovely act to come on. She's going to sing us out this and serenade this section of African Fashion Week. Please welcome this lady, Amira Brave, to come and sing us out.
Give it up for Mel Dave, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
That's it for the New Year's show, so it was a bit late. But absolutely, please start making your way outside. And remember, I said that there's some exhibition halls right on your left-hand side. There's about 18. Check them out, spend some money, and thank you for attending. And we'll see you at 5 o'clock. Thank you.
Put the speaker on the other room, man. The other room. Up. Yeah.
I just think.
Oh, it's your sorry. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. But we're going back still.
Again, as usual, my name is Olayomi Koiki. We are live at the African Fashion Week. This is the second day of the event. It's just a bit of break at the moment. We'll be back again at 5 o'clock. But as you can see, it's been a very busy day. A lot of people out there supporting all the African businesses, you know, the fabrics. I keep saying, you know, African is just one continent that, you know, so much will come out of it. As you can see, right in the city of London where this is taking place. Again, as usual, this is Niger Diaspora broadcasting to you live all the way from African Fashion Week. This is the second day, and as you can see, there's so much outlets, fabrics, name it, ornaments, you know, whatever you're looking for. There's a lot of businesses going on as well. We're bringing it to you. We should be back again in the next an hour, where the next show will be starting. But at the moment now, we're just showcasing to you all the businesses that have been here.
I've seen you.
And showcasing different African design, different African attire. Again, as usual, my name is Olayomi Koiki. It's been, as you can see, I came all the way down in my own African attire as well. Very beautiful feelings. I'm sure for those of you that saw all those you know, catwalks with different African attire, I'm sure you'll be pleased that in 2017 we can all be proud of who we are, and that's why we're here. Again, as usual, it's Niger Diaspora bringing it to you all the way from Auburn, where this is the second day of the African Fashion Week. We're one of the media partners broadcasting this to you. The show will be starting again in about 5 o'clock, where we will continue from where we stopped. I'm sure you saw so much. Hopefully we should be able to bring, you know, some people to speak to you and tell us, you know, what they saw today. Let me turn around and show you. There's a lot of things going on at the moment. I mean, this is another design. It's a very beautiful day. A lot of feelings. I can smell all the African food as well, where, you know, African dish are being served right. Okay, right now, sorry, it looks like I was losing the signal while I was getting to where the food has been sold. This is GD Ketra serving puff, jollof rice. It's all taking place right here at the African Fashion Week. This is the second day. Again, as usual, I can see all the way from Milton Keynes. If you're looking into the property, if you remember on Wednesday, I was interviewing someone on my radio show. We'll be catching up with her in about a few minutes. Let her get what she needs to eat. I'm sure she's got a long day as well. Good to see you, my beautiful sister, right there all the way from Milton Keynes. It's Niger Diaspora all the way. As you can see, the chicken, the jack chicken, the beans, the chicken curry. There's a lot happening here, but the most important thing is at 5 o'clock, we'll be bringing back to you the next event that is taking place, you know, where we're supporting all the African Fashion Week. As you can see right there, Niger Diaspora all the way, one of the media partners right here in the middle of Auburn, where it's all taking place. Remember, you know, you have to continue supporting, you know, the businesses. There's a lot of them out here, and hopefully we should get some details and bring that up to you. Again, as usual, my name is Olayomi Koiki, making things happen wherever it's taking place. This is a big event that if you've been following us on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, you know, we've been broadcasting that this is going to happen, and it's actually happening now. And right there is Niger Diaspora making things happen. As you can see there, You can't miss it. It's the African Fashion Week, all taking place. Being a media partner, let me turn a little bit. It's been a beautiful day, and I'm sure for those of you that have been watching this, at exactly 5 o'clock, we'll be back again for the next session where we'll be transmitting live to you all the way in Auburn, where the second day of the African Fashion Week is taking place. Again, I keep saying there's a lot taking place, in Africa. If you're still disputing that, then you must be thinking right now that there's a lot that can happen. I could see so much, different people that are right here, trying to make a big difference, by showcasing the talent, the skills, you name it all. But as we can see to you, this is all taking place right here in Auburn, where there's a lot of African print, beautiful African print. I've been seeing so much African material, but the most important thing is we're still here till about 7 p.m. So tell someone to tell someone. Nigeria Diaspora will be bringing this to you all the way. Again, I'll quickly like to use this opportunity. We were meant to be here yesterday, but I lost a very good friend of mine. He died in his sleep right here in London. But the most important thing is this is someone that loved all the family and friends, and I keep saying you do what best you can do, because you never know when death will come close to you. He died peacefully in his sleep. He's still got a mother, he's got children as well. But the most important thing is, all through yesterday, people are still saying it's not him, but unfortunately he's gone. But we'll pray for him, and we hope the family that he left behind, the wife and the children, the children are still very young, but the most important thing, this is someone that loved, the family so much to his heart. Not just the family, everyone that had a good contact with him are so much loved. Like I keep saying, you might be thinking, I'm going to be 60 years, I'm going to be 70 years. You never know when you're going to die. Make sure you support something. Make sure you be an agent of a good something, so that you'll be leaving a legacy. He's a young guy, less than age 40. He died in his sleep, but the most important thing is he has left a legacy, and that is what we are saying. And that is one of the reasons why we are here as well, to showcase that Africa is going places. But if you are still thinking, because of all the problems, whatever is happening on the other side, there will be so much that will be happening. We cannot solve all the problems, but continue to be an agent of someone that want to do something good. And as you can see, there's so much African print. At 5 o'clock, in just about 20 minutes, we'll be back again where this is all taking place, at the African Fashion Week right here at Auburn. Again, as usual, my name is Olayomi Koiki, bringing it to you. Let's show you beautiful posters, different African materials. You can see there, we might be able to ask 1 or 2 questions with them to see, what country they are representing in Africa, because I can see, there's a lot of Africa. Can I just ask you, my name is Olayomi Koiki, Nigeria Diaspora, we're broadcasting live on Facebook. What part of Africa, material is this from? Can you tell me?
It's from Ghana, it's a kente.
Well, as you can see, that is from Ghana, representing Ghana all the way at the African Fashion Week. Thank you very much. Ashanti, that's it. Well, there's a lot of people right here, but the most important thing is, we're right here at the African Fashion Week where it's all taking place. Remember, Africa is going places, and you must also support it wherever it's taking place. Nigeria Diaspora, one central hub, connecting not just the Nigeria, but all the Africans, not just in the United Kingdom, like I keep saying, but globally as well. So much African print. What part of Africa country is this from?
Ghanaian.
She's Ghanaian. Can you just say hello to all the Ghanaians that are probably watching live all the way from Ghana? We're live on Facebook. That's it. And what are we doing here today?
I'm here to watch the fashion show. It's been good so far. I was here yesterday as well.
Wow.
I'm here for the whole day, the rest of the day, so I'm looking forward to all the designers.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, you've had it there all the way from Ghana. There's a lot of African countries representing. You must also do one person that must support whatever is taking place globally. We must still be able to get a few more people to interview, but I need to get my phone on the charging point as quickly as possible so that we can continue to transmit to you live at the African Fashion Week. Again, as usual, my name is Olayomi Koiki, making things happen is why we are here today. And you must continue to support African businesses wherever they are residing, whether in Glasgow, whether in Edinburgh. It's a lot happening, and we're still here. It's a long day, but we're definitely going to make sure that everyone is covered. It's a long day, but the African is going places. 2017, we will continue to do our own little bit to make sure that we bring the best of Africa close to you, but you must support any African businesses. Let's just show you a bit of what is happening outside as well, so that you can have the feel of what it looks like. I'm sure if you have not got your ticket, you might still want to turn around. Maybe you might just be able to get a ticket. Beautiful, beautiful day. Let me just turn around. As you can see, right here is a lot taking place at the African Fashion Week. Again, as usual, my name is Olayomi Koiki. As you can see, dresses, and this is where we are, where it's all taking. Well, there's a lot taking place. The African Fashion Week right here, taking place all the way up. And this is the second day of the event. The next slide should be coming at just about 20 minutes from now, where we will still be bringing it to you live all the way from Auburn. Again, as usual, the name is Africans in United Kingdom and globally. It's the African Fashion Week where it's all taking place. It's been a very beautiful day so far, but we still got a long day to go. Make sure you don't tune in, but continue to share the page, continue to tell someone right here today at the African Fashion Week. Just tell us what you're showcasing today. We're live on Facebook. If you want to pitch yourself, I'll let you sit down a little bit. I'm not cutting you up on our way, but you got to be prepared. There's a lot happening. We're here in Nigeria diaspora, connecting not just with Nigerians but all the Africans. And we're on Facebook. We've been showcasing what is happening outside, inside, but we're outside now. And I want you to tell the audience that are watching what your business is and where they can be able to find you.
Amazing. I'm Aisha Marie. I represent Lonam Jewelry, coming straight out of Ghana, West Africa. I'm here with a beautiful array of Adinkra jewelry. Adinkra symbols are made in Ghana or West Africa, and each have a different meaning. So each of the symbols show a different piece of faith, showing you the love, wisdom, and you can find us online at lonam.co.uk.
Okay, that's london.co.uk.
Yep.
Make sure you check it out. There's a lot happening here, like I keep saying. Thank you very much, sister, for giving us the time. It's African Fashion Week, and you can see there's a lot of beautiful African material right here. The most important thing is this is the second day. It's the last day. You can still catch up with it. I think the next show starts at 5 o'clock, but we're still here till about 7 p.m. where it's all taking place. Again, as usual, my name is Olayomi Koiki, Nigeria diaspora, one central hub, connecting not just the Nigerians, but all the Africans as well in the United Kingdom. We're making things happen. It's a long day, but we will definitely continue to bring it to you. We're going to take a bit of a break now, but we'll be back again at about 5 o'clock when the next session will be taking place. Again, as usual, my name is Olayomi Koiki. Making things happen is the reason why we're here. Thank you very much, and stay tuned by the time we're back again at 5 p.m.